I caught my fiancée texting her ex the night before our wedding, so I exposed her at the altar and walked away. It's been 3 weeks since I walked out of what was supposed to be the best day of my life. Instead, it turned out to be the most humiliating, eye-opening experience I've ever had. I, 29M, was engaged to Emily, 27F. We met at a mutual friend's party 3 years ago. She was charming, funny, and just had this warmth that pulled me in. Things moved fast, maybe too fast, but I thought when you know, you know. Within a year, we'd moved in together, and by the second year, I proposed. Our relationship wasn't perfect, sure. There were the usual arguments, mostly about small things, money, time spent with each other's families, or how often she was on her phone. That last one always rubbed me the wrong way. Emily was glued to it, constantly texting or scrolling, and I'd joke she loved her phone more than me. She'd laugh and say, "You're just jealous because I have more followers." I shrugged it off. Everyone's addicted to their phones these days, right? Anyway, fast forward to 2 months before the wedding, and I started noticing subtle changes. She was more secretive. If I walked into a room, she'd quickly lock her phone or flip it face down. Her mood shifted too. She'd get defensive easily, pick fights over nothing, and then suddenly shower me with affection the next day. Classic emotional whiplash. Still, I told myself it was wedding stress. The night before our wedding, I stayed at a nearby hotel with my brother and groomsmen. Emily was at her sister's place with her bridal party. We agreed not to talk that night. Something about tradition and missing each other at the altar, blah blah. Around midnight, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was from our shared tablet back at our apartment that I'd totally forgotten was still synced to her iMessages. She must have taken it out to look something up and forgotten to close the messaging app. What popped up was enough to make my stomach drop. It was a message from someone named Jay. Jay, still can't believe you're going through with it. Do you even love him? Emily, it's complicated. You know I'll always have feelings for you, but I need stability. He's safe. Jay, that doesn't sound like love. Emily, don't make this harder. You know if things were different. I stared at the screen, numb. More texts followed. Flirty, reminiscent, emotional. She was texting her ex, James, her college boyfriend. I remembered him from a story she told once, how he broke her heart and left her crying for weeks. And here she was, telling him she still had feelings for him, the night before our wedding. I didn't say anything to the guys. I didn't sleep. I just sat on the edge of the hotel bed, reading every message. 2 hours worth of them. Everything clicked. The secrecy, the mood swings, her phone obsession. It wasn't just stress. She was emotionally cheating, and possibly worse. By sunrise, I had a decision to make. I could confront her quietly, call off the wedding, save face. Or, I could do what my gut was screaming for me to do, expose her. I don't know what kind of person that made me, but after everything, I needed the truth to be known. Not just for me, but for everyone who thought we were the perfect couple. So I made a plan. The morning of the wedding, I was a walking corpse. No food, no sleep, just 1,000 thoughts racing through my head. The betrayal stung worse than anything I've felt before. I wasn't just heartbroken, I was humiliated. And the worst part? Everyone I loved was gathering, dressed up, happy, ready to celebrate a lie. I still didn't tell anyone. Not my brother, not my best friend, not even my mom, who kept texting sweet, excited messages from the venue. I needed time. I needed a plan that would show everyone who Emily really was, without making me look like a bitter, dramatic mess. This wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. At around 7 a.m., I went back to the tablet and took screenshots of all the texts. Every word, every emoji, every timestamp. I sent them to myself and backed them up on a USB drive. I didn't trust the cloud. Then I made one call, to Emily's older brother, Mike. He and I were pretty close, and I knew he cared about me. I asked him to meet me privately before the ceremony. We met at a coffee shop near the venue, away from all the guests. He could tell something was off. I handed him the USB and said, "I'm not asking for advice. I just want you to see it before everything blows up." He plugged it into his laptop, read in silence, then just muttered. Mike wasn't a dramatic guy, but I saw the blood drain from his face. He promised to handle his family quietly and asked if I was still going through with the ceremony. I told him, I'll walk to the altar, but not to marry her. Fast forward to 2 p.m. The guests were seated. The music was playing. Emily was upstairs with her bridesmaids, probably thinking everything was still perfect. My heart was pounding, but I walked in, stood at the altar, smiled at friends and family like nothing was wrong. Mike gave me a subtle nod from the third row. He'd done his part. Then Emily appeared, walking down the aisle in her dress. Beautiful, radiant, and in that moment, a complete stranger to me. She smiled at me, and I swear, for a second, I almost gave in. Almost. But then I remembered what she wrote. He's safe. That's all I was to her. When the officiant asked if anyone had reason to object, I didn't wait. I stepped forward, turned to the guests, and said, "Actually, I do." Gasps. Confusion. Emily looked frozen. "I'm really sorry to do this here, but you all deserve to know. This wedding shouldn't be happening." Emily's been texting her ex, telling him she still loves him, last night. I have the messages. She called me safe. Not someone she loves, just someone convenient. Chaos. Absolute chaos. Emily's face turned white, then red. Her dad stood up yelling. Her bridesmaids didn't know whether to comfort her or run. My family sat in stunned silence. I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out a small envelope with printouts of the messages, and handed them to the officiant. I told him, "If anyone needs proof, it's all there." Then I left. I walked straight out of that church, out of the parking lot, and into my car. I didn't wait for reactions. I didn't cry. I just drove. My phone blew up, calls, messages, everything from apologies to anger to confusion. I turned it off. What I didn't know yet was how wild things were about to get after I left. I drove for hours with no destination, just a need to get away from it all. When I finally stopped, I was at some small-town motel 2 hours out of the city. I checked in under a fake name, turned off my phone again, and crashed for what felt like an entire day. I needed silence. I needed to breathe. When I finally turned my phone back on the next evening, it exploded. 107 missed calls, 72 text messages, and dozens of DMs. Word had spread, fast. I don't know exactly who told who, but by the end of that day, everyone who mattered knew what happened. Friends, co-workers, distant cousins. Even my boss sent a message that just read, "Heard what happened. Take as much time off as you need." From what I gathered piecing things together, here's how the rest of the wedding day went. Emily had a full-blown meltdown after I left. She tried to deny it at first, saying I was manipulating the messages, but the printouts and screenshots didn't lie. Her family, especially Mike, was furious. He apparently cornered her privately and told her she had 5 minutes to come clean to everyone, or he would do it himself. Her mom sobbed. Her dad demanded the venue refund. Her sister cursed her out in front of everyone. Most of her friends dipped within the hour, and by sunset, the entire event had unraveled into chaos. The venue still charged them a cancellation fee. The caterers donated all the uneaten food to a local shelter. Meanwhile, my family, once the shock wore off, rallied behind me. My brother told me he was proud of how I handled it. My mom was heartbroken but told me I dodged a lifetime of pain. And my best friend? He sent me a meme that said, "At least you saved money on divorce lawyers." Emily tried to reach out, of course. Her messages ranged from rage, "You humiliated me," to remorse, "Please just talk to me, I messed up," to downright bizarre, "It didn't mean anything with James. I was scared, that's all." I didn't respond to a single one. Eventually, she sent a final message. "Emily, I hope someday you can forgive me. I wasn't ready, but I should have been honest. I'm sorry." That was the only thing she got right. In the weeks that followed, I did what most people do after a disaster like this. I rebuilt. Slowly, quietly. I started therapy, reconnected with old friends, picked up a few hobbies I dropped during the relationship. I even adopted a dog. Her name's Luna, and she's better than any fiancé I ever had. I also found out that James, the ex she was texting, ghosted her shortly after the wedding imploded. Typical. The weirdest part? People started treating me like some kind of legend. I'd go out for drinks and overhear whispers. "That's the guy who stopped the wedding with the texts." It felt surreal, like I was living in a Reddit post, which, I guess now, I am. If there's one thing I've learned from this whole experience, it's that gut instincts matter. I knew something was off. I just didn't want to admit it. Love makes you blind, but betrayal? That opens your eyes real fast. So yeah, that's my story. I was left at the altar, technically, but really, I walked away. And I've never felt more free. To anyone reading this going through something similar, trust yourself. Don't settle for being someone's safe option. You deserve more than that.